Yo, can everyone hear me? We had a good one today. Let's see who's here. Fire Pixie.
Aloha. Aloha.
Scott.
Salam alaikum.
Hope everyone's doing well today. And anyone who isn't in the chat, hey to y'all too. So today we're going to talk about Sheepsquatch. But first, we got to watch this commercial real quick.
Dear friends, today I stand before you with a message that I believe is both urgent and important. Every day, millions of children across the world face challenges that no child should have to face. They go without basic necessities like clean water, food, and shelter. And worse still, they lack access to the kind of joy and wonder that we often take for granted. But there is hope. Dr. Corbeau's Feel-Good Fun-Time Medicine Show is here to make a difference. We believe that every child deserves a chance to experience the joy and wonder of our rich educational programming. That's why we work tirelessly to bring Dr. Corbeau's teachings to communities in need, regardless of where they are in the world. Our shows are more than just entertainment, they are a lifeline for so many children. They offer hope and inspiration, reminding children that no matter what their circumstances may be, they have the power to dream and to achieve their goals. And most importantly, they remind children that they are loved and valued, no matter where they come from or what challenges they may face or how inbred and ugly they may be. So my friends, I ask you to join us in our mission. Together, we can make a real difference in the lives of children across the world. Please make a donation to our PayPal at drcorbeaux@gmail.com or through our Cash App at $Dr. Corbeaux. Let us work together to give every child the chance to experience the wonder and joy of Dr. Corbeau's Feel-Good Fun-Time Medicine Show. Thank you.
All right. Let's see how many subscribers that one cost me. Miss Face.
Salam alaikum.
Lamb.
Aloha. Aloha.
All right. One last thing. Let me get myself out of Oz mode here. Because today we're broadcasting from the Chicken Coop Meth Lab. All right. Let's hope I'm not too stoned for this, folks. How's the sound now? Any sound? Should be good, man. Testing. So, when y'all can hear me, press 1 in the chat so I know. I know this is big. All right, we're good to go. Sorry. Again, too high for this shit. So, here we go. Hillbilly Demonology, Episode 3, Sheepsquatch. Who is Sheepsquatch? Also known as the White Thing. He's a hairy cryptid with ram-like horns, white fur, seen predominantly in the southwestern region of West Virginia. The counties with the most sightings are Boone, Kanawha, Putnam, and Mason, with the surge in sightings taking place in Boone County during the 1990s. So Sheepsquatch can appear as a quadruped or bipedal, often described with sharp, saber-like teeth and the horns of a ram, with paws similar to a raccoon but much larger, and a long tail, hairless like a possum, with a sulfur odor. So, one of the earliest stories we have in relation to this chalk demon is the tale of Frank Kozel and the White Thing. The area of Morgan's Ridge, where most of the White Thing sightings occurred, was one of the earliest sites of coal mine development in the region that became West Virginia. The first coal mining operation west of the Allegheny Mountains was developed near Fairmont by James O. Watson in 1852. And by the turn of the next century, the same town was the leading producer of coal in the state of West Virginia. Coal mines appeared throughout Marion County during this period as part of the Fairmont Coal Field, a seam of coal that also ran through Monongalia, Harrison, Preston, Barber, and Taylor counties as well. These new mines needed more labor than local workforces could provide, and the wave of immigrants arriving from Eastern and Southern Europe provided it. Many of the workers in the coal mines of Marion County hailed from countries like Italy, Poland, and Hungary. Frank Kozel was one such worker. Born in 1893 in the Croatian province of Dalmatia, Kozel arrived to the United States in 1914. At the time of his migration to North America, Dalmatia was torn by rival factions on the question of national independence. Prior to World War I, the province was controlled by the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but a considerable portion of the population favored the establishment of a separate state for ethnic Croatians. To complicate matters, the neighboring country of Italy had its own designs on Dalmatia. As with the question of Serbian independence, the question of Croatia and Dalmatia's future culminated in the violence of the First World War. After Serbian nationalist Gavrilo Princip assassinated the Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 and set in motion the events that led to World War I, Italy sided against Austria in the hopes of gaining control of Dalmatia. With war on the horizon for his homeland, Kozel pulled up stakes and crossed the Atlantic Ocean. By 1920, he was living in a boarding house in Benwood, West Virginia. But within a few years, he had relocated to Fairmont, where he met and married Beatrice Dukic, moved into her family home, and started his family. It was around that time that he also began working at the Consolidated Coal Company's Jordan 93 mine just north of Rivesville, West Virginia. Somebody remind me about Jordan 93 mine later. One night in July of 1929, 2 years after his daughter's birth and the same year as his son's, Corbeaux ended an 11-hour shift at the Jordan 93 mine and began his walk home. It was a 6.5-mile walk and would take over 2 hours to complete, so Corbeaux chose to avoid the unshaded road in favor of a shortcut through the woods on Morgan's Ridge. Partway through his trek, he encountered a beast about the size of a large dog, with white hair, a bushy tail, and sharp teeth. Before he could react, the animal pounced on him, and though he swung at it with his lunchbox, he couldn't make contact. For I guess, information purposes, lunchboxes used to be pretty fucking heavy. Anyhow, Corbeaux attempted to escape the creature by running away, but it continued to attack as he reached the outskirts of a nearby cemetery. However, the attack ceased and the animal disappeared. Looking himself over, Corbeaux was astonished to discover he had no injuries from the attack. In fact, had no marks of the incident whatsoever. He rushed home to a sleepless night and never took the same shortcut home from the mine again. Corbeaux's story, recounted decades later by his daughter, paralleled other sightings of the white thing or Sheepsquatch along Morgan's Ridge. Such tales describe a creature that tears apart other animals, particularly livestock like sheep, hence its nickname, but leaves no mark on human beings. Hunters, farmers, and travelers alike have claimed that they were attacked by or saw a large white beast with an eerie scream at various times throughout the 20th century. Such accounts have become a well-established pillar of West Virginia's folklore. One more story that hints at the mystery still hidden in the deeper reaches of Appalachia. While many believe such stories, the area's teenagers are apparently not among them. Hearing the earliest stories of white thing encounters, they apparently ran through the countryside of Marion County at night, banging on the outside of houses and shrieking to make their neighbors believe in the monster's existence. At the height of the sightings, in the 1920s and 30s, it no doubt spread fear and confusion. Decades later, when the youths involved finally admitted their part, it was evidently cause for considerable amusement, whether you believe the legend or not. However, the hunt for the Sheepsquatch can continue today along Corbeaux's route home on US 19. And this was written by Daniel Wurtenberg for the Clio Guide to History, September 21st, 2019. So, moving on to some Sheepsquatch sightings from the Cryptid Wiki. Let me check the chat, make sure all's still well. All right. In 1994, a former Navy seaman stated having witnessed the beast breaking through the forest. The white thing breached the brush line and knelt to drink from the creek. Here it drank for a few minutes before crossing the creek and continuing on toward the nearby road. The witness stated they observed the animal for a while before it moved on into the surrounding brush and not shit happened. In 1995, the creature was next spotted a year later, this time involving a car. A couple driving through Boone County observed a large white beast sitting in the ditch alongside the roadway. As many curious passersby might do in such a situation, they stopped their car to get a better look at it. What kind of motherfucker's gonna stop for that shit? Fucking many fucking people in that situation, my ass. They came to describe the creature again as mostly similar to earlier descriptions. yet they added that the creature had 4 eyes. In stark contrast to the last sighting, where the Sheepsquatch fled the scene, the creature leaped out of the ditch and started to attack the car. See, most people wouldn't fucking stop because that shit would happen. Frightened by the attack, the couple drove off quickly, no shit. And once they arrived back at home, noticed large scratches on the side where the beast had attacked. Another incident in 1999 involved a couple of campers who were in the forest at night. Again in Boone County, around a bonfire. They eventually heard an animal snorting and scuffling around the camp in a manner similar to an aggravated bear, though it did not come into the light of the campfire immediately. All of a sudden, the Sheepsquatch suddenly charged out of the darkness at the campers. Reacting quickly, they jumped up and ran back into their house, all the while being pursued by the Sheepsquatch. Giving chase is a natural reaction of a predator when a creature flees. Its initial attack could have simply been a mock charge. Well, motherfucker, thanks for telling us. The white thing stopped at the edge of the forest when they crossed it and let out a terrible scream. It then turned around and headed back into the woods. The next morning, the campers returned to their campsite and the trail home, finding it to be torn up. They referred to it as like someone had tilled it up for gardening. 2015, in Folks Run, Virginia, the beast was spotted once again in the forests of Appalachia. The creature was spotted close to midnight by 6 campers spending the night in the dense woods. The beast was reportedly 8 to 9 feet tall, with a shoulder length of 4 to 5 feet. One of the campers first saw the beast at the top of the nearby hill in a crouching position. Then it stood up and he alerted the other campers. Then it started running down the steep hill toward the campers, but they were separated by the river that was flowing through. They looked in horror as it searched for a way to cross, and with no other option began to wade through the river. It finally came out of the water, and the campers reported that it appeared like a bipedal dog in the chest, with its fur wet from the river crossing. Then a loud cut bass screech was heard about 2 miles off from where they were. Then the Sheepsquatch looked up in shock, just high enough so the moonlight was in its face, and the campers looked on in fear as it let out a pathetic whimper. Then in a sprint ran in the opposite direction of the noise. The campers quickly packed and left, then reported it to the locals, fearing that if the authorities were informed, they would be ridiculed. The identity of the campers is unknown as of March 2016. In Boone County, an incident in 2015, a man claimed to have encountered a Sheepsquatch while walking his dogs. He described it as large, white, furry creature with long, sharp claws. In Greenbrier County, in 2017, a woman in Greenbrier, West Virginia, reported that she saw a Sheepsquatch while driving along a deserted road. She described the creature as having woolly white fur and ram-like horns. So what the fuck is this shit? Let's find out. So, Avioso, the Vodun of thunder, he's a god of heaven, thunder, lightning, and rain. Known to populations of southern Benin, Avioso is a righteous god. He chastises liars, thieves, and villains by smiting them. In certain places, the bas reliefs of the temples of Avioso represent this god in the form of a man who have slaughtered at his feet a living being with an axe. Amadioha, the Igbo thunder deity, is the Arusi or Agbara of thunder and lightning of the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. He is amongst the most popular of Igbo deities, and in some parts of Igbo land he is referred to as Amadiora, Kamalu, or Ofufe. Astrologically, his governing planet is the sun, his color is red, and his symbol is a white ram. Note the ram's horns on an anthropomorphic figure there. He is often associated with Anyanwu, who is the Igbo god of the sun. While Anyanwu is prominent in northern Igbo land, Amadioha is more prominent in the southern part. His day is Eke, which is the first market day of the Igbo 4-day week. Ram deities in ancient Egypt. The ram was revered in ancient Egypt in matters of fertility and war. Early gods with long wavy ram horns include Khnum and the equivalent god in Lower Egypt, Baneb-Jedet, the ram lord of Jedet, Mendes, who was typically shown with 4 ram heads to represent the 4 souls of the sun god. Baneb-Jedet may also be linked to the first 4 gods to rule over Egypt, Osiris, Geb, Shu, and Ra-Atum, with large granite shrines devoted to each in the Mendes sanctuary. The Book of the Heavenly Cow describes the ram of Mendes as being the Ba of Osiris, but this was not an exclusive association. We got quite a few ram-headed deities here, and we're not going to go over all of them, but so far we keep coming across this issue of this anthropomorphic being that has ram's horns. Let's keep going. Khnum was one of the earliest known Egyptian deities. Originally, the god of the source of the Nile, since the annual flooding of the Nile brought with it silt and clay, and its water brought life to its surroundings, he was thought to be the creator of the bodies of human children, which he made at a potter's wheel from clay and placed in their mother's wombs. He was later described as having molded the other deities, and he had the titles Divine Potter and Lord of Created Things from himself. Someone remember ram's-headed dudes and children. It will come up later at the same time with the mind. Amun, worshipped by the Greeks as Ammon, had a temple and a statue, the gift of Pindar at Thebes and another at Sparta, the inhabitants of which, as Pausanias says, consulted the oracle of Ammon in Libya from early times more than the other Greeks. At Ephistus, Chalcediki, Amun was worshipped from the time of Lysander as zealously as Ammonium. Pindar the poet honored the god with a hymn. At Megalopolis, the god was represented with the head of a ram, and the Greeks of Cyrenaica dedicated at Delphi a chariot with a statue of Ammon. There's also a demon by the same name in the Dictionnaire Infernal. And Ammon's horns, the region of the hippocampus in the brain, are called the cornu ammonis, literally Ammon's horns, due to the horned appearance of the dark and light bands of cellular layers. In Paradise Lost, Milton identifies Ammon with the biblical Ham and states that the Gentiles called him the Libyan Jove, which is Jupiter, another lightning dude with ram's horns in an anthropomorphic form. Demonic manifestations. Check that out. Ain't that spook? Let me check the chat, make sure I'm still alive. Alright, nobody's bitching. Onward. Asmodeus, appears as the king Ashmedai in the Ars Goetia, where he is said to have a seal in gold and is listed as number 32 according to respective rank. He is strong, powerful, and appears with 3 heads. The first is like a bull. Remember, bull. The second, like a man. And the third, like a ram or a goat. Bull, too, man. We just got out of the book of the Heavenly Cow. What the fuck's up with that? The tail of a serpent, and from his mouth issues flames of fire. Also, he sits upon an infernal dragon, holding a lance with a banner, and amongst the legions of Amaimon, Ashmedai governs 72 legions of inferior spirits. Fuck. Ruax from the Testament of Solomon. Then I, Solomon, invoked the name of the Lord Sabaoth, and questioning each in turn as to what was in its character, and I bade each one to come forward and tell of its actions. Then the first one came forward and said, I am the first deacons of the zodiac circle, and I am called the Ram, and with me are these 2. So I put to them the question, who are ye called? The first said, I, O Lord, am called Ruax, and I cause the heads of men to be idle, and I pillage their brows. But let me only hear the words, Michael imprison Ruax, and at once I retreat. Zodiac circles, folks. First deacons, called the Ram. I mean, that's pretty Aries if you're not catching it. And for footnotes purposes, people who don't know what the Testament of Solomon is, it's an early text, and the story basically Solomon gets his magic ring and makes all these demons tell him all their weak spots. Alright, Baphomet, the satanic horn god symbol known as the Baphomet, is based on an Egyptian ram deity that was worshipped in Mendes called Banebjed, literally Ba of the Lord of Jed. This is that dude we just talked about, entitled the Lord of Mendes, who was the soul of Osiris. According to Egyptian mythology, a guide to the gods, goddesses, and traditions of ancient Egypt, the book's author, Geraldine Harris, said the ram gods Ra, Amun, and Banebjed were to mystically unite with the Queen of Egypt to sire the heir to the throne. Ain't that like some fucking Minotaur shit? And Baphomet was originally a head or a cat. It didn't get associated with this shit until this image down here by Eliphas Levi. Occultist Eliphas Levi in his Dogma et Rituel de la Haute Magie, the Dogma and Ritual of High Magic, combined the images of the Tarot of Marseille devil card and configured the ram Banebjed as a he-goat, calling it the Baphomet of Mendes, or Goat of Mendes. The inaccurate description can be traced back to Herodotus' Histories Book 2, where Herodotus describes the deity of Mendes as having a goat's head and fleece, when Banebjed was really represented by a ram, not a goat. Iblis is the leader of the devils in Islam. According to the Quran, Iblis was thrown out of heaven after he refused to prostrate himself before Adam. Regarding the origin and nature of Iblis, there are 2 different viewpoints. In the first version, before Iblis was cast down from heaven, he used to be a high-ranking angel called Azazel, appointed by God to obliterate the original disobedient and destructive inhabitants of the earth, who were replaced with humans as more obedient creatures. After Iblis objected to God's decision to create a successor, he was punished by being relegated and cast down to earth as a shaitan. In the alternative account, God created Iblis from the fires beneath the seventh earth. Worshipping God for thousands of years, Iblis ascended to the surface, whereupon, thanks to his pertinacious servitude, he rose until he reached the company of angels in the seventh heaven, when God created Adam and taught him the names of all things, then ordered the angels to bow down. Iblis, being a jinn, created from fire, refused and disobeyed God, leading to his downfall. In the Islamic tradition, Iblis is often identified with Ash-Shaytan, often known by the epithet Ar-Rajim, the accursed. Shaitan usually applied to Iblis in order to denote his role as the tempter, while Iblis is his proper name. Some Sufi Muslims uphold a more ambivalent role for Iblis, considering him not simply the devil, but actually the truest monotheist, because he would worship only the Creator and not his creations, while preserving the term Shaitan exclusively for evil forces. Walter Langton, the Bishop of Coventry, died in 1321 of Castle Ashby in Northamptonshire. He was the Bishop of Coventry and Lichfield and King's Treasurer, and was accused before the Pope of doing homage to the devil in the form of a sheep. Look at that sheep worshipping guy. Doesn't he look like he'd worship a sheep? So, some more Sheepsquatch miscellany. Destination America, Monsters and Mysteries Season 1, Appalachia. Sasquatch, Sheepsquatch, fuck y'all, fucked up. I quit smoking. Sheepsquatch, Breckinridge County, Kentucky. The border between southwest Virginia and West Virginia is an area surrounded in mystery and folklore, but few mysteries are more unusual and intriguing than the Appalachian white beast known to the locals as Sheepsquatch. Dakota Cheeks, Dakota Cheeks, and his best friend, Ricky Joyce. What the fuck kind of names people have over there, man? Become prey to the legendary white beast during a weekend hunting trip. Fuck Breckenridge, Kentucky. Never going. Also, Fallout 76, which I never heard of, is this fucking video game, and apparently this is what they think Sheepsquatch looks like there, and I don't play games, so I don't know what the fuck to tell y'all about that shit. Other than I guess Sheepsquatch is like really breaking out into the mainstream. And if you ever, feel the need to go pray to a Sheepsquatch idol, there's one at the mini golf at the Cryptid Mountain Miniature Golf in Morgantown, West Virginia. So, what the hell is Sheepsquatch? Could it be Bigfoot with HPV? So, jackalopes are basically hares that get HPV and get them little cutaneous horns. So what if that's what like Bigfoot is, man? He got like one of those social diseases. So causes of a cutaneous horn. Exposure to radiation from the sunlight may be one of the causes. Another possible cause is having viral warts caused by human papillomavirus. It's estimated that about half of cutaneous horns appear on top of or because of skin cancer or precancerous lesions. And there's that lady, I believe she's from China, and there's her impressive little horn. I mean, at least hers is like nice and shaped. And AI thinks that this is what a Sasquatch with cutaneous horns would look like. So there's one. I mean, maybe that's fucking Sheepsquatch, dude. Next option. Could Sheepsquatch be a feral inbred with HPV? I mean, excessive body hair, foul odor, West Virginia, cutaneous horns. Maybe Sheepsquatch is just a chicken coop meth baby from a feral inbred family, all growed up. Because Sheepsquatch be a supernatural creature. Horned, numerous deities appear horned or even anthropomorphic with ram's heads. Showed you some of those earlier. Sulfur, smell of sulfur, is said to accompany the presence of demons. And the men in black, according to early reports, and apparently dogmen and a lot of other fuck shit. Wounds. Not all who are attacked show any physical wounds. Could it be a ghost or some sort of spirit or the ghost of a chicken coop meth baby? Could it just be absolute bullshit? Could it be a chicken coop meth delusion? Could it just be a bullshit fabrication? Could it be hallucinations caused by fumes from the mines? Then we got the issue of people across time seeing ram-headed anthropomorphic figures to explain. And not all of them had like minds and shit. So, I don't know, man. And I saw in the midst of the throne and of the four living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, a lamb standing as though it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which is 3 more than the 4-eyed sheepsquatch, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth into all the earth. And he came, and he taketh it out of the right hand of him that sat on the throne. Apocalypse of St. John 5, 6 through 7. So, something inspired me to try a little new Aeon English Kabbalah, which was kind of made famous in relation to cryptids by that pretty cool documentary Hellier. So I thought, hey, fuck it, let's see what we got. So Sheepsquatch sum is 168, which is also the sum of a demon from West Virginia, USA, and from the weird little Crowley book from the West, like West Virginia. These are all the 168 equivalents in the book of the law for our Thelemite buddies out there. So Hell's Own Worm, I mean, maybe that's his possum-like tail, from West Virginia. Death, I mean, like, I guess he's killing everybody's fucking sheep. He's definitely destroying some shit. Destroy them. Or blood worship me. Well, there's a lot of blood worship of ram-headed dudes. Be known that I slay sheep. Awful torment. Well, old Frank Kozel, he was fucked up about it for the rest of his life. He had PTSD from a feral chicken coop meth baby's ghost. And again, drugs whereof, there's the chicken coop motherfucking meth. Now, old Frank Kozel was in Jordan Mine 93, speaking of new Aeon fuckery. And coincidentally, Moloch's Ram is also 93, and Seder, West Virginia, USA is also 93. So what kind of thelemic fuckery is going on here, folks? What the fuck? Bah! And don't forget to get your Feel Good Fun Time Medicine Merch t-shirts. We got a Sheepsquatch t-shirt and Chicken Coop Meth t-shirts, and When Life Gives You Lemons, Go Fuck Yourself coffee cups. So let me see what the fuck's going on here, because I got some shit to show y'all. Damn, that shit's still playing. Sorry, folks, it replayed. Damn, I'm tore the fuck up. But speaking of, we gotta do this since we're broadcasting from the Chicken Coop Meth Lab today.
Hey, man. You know where I can get any of that good coop meth? That shit's the bomb.
So, what's the consensus? Supernatural creature, feral West Virginia guy with HPV or the ghost thereof, chicken coop meth delusion and or baby, Sasquatch with HPV, a demon, I mean, it could be that ram god from Egypt. Remember, they were real big about shaving off all their hair, especially during rituals. Maybe Khnum would have been like hairy as fuck, you know. Uh, and we forgot about the Khnum and fashion, the little kids in that picture. Don't that kind of look like that Moloch idol? Speaking of Moloch's ram, what do y'all think about that weird 93 shit? Damien Eccles would fucking piss his pants over that shit, wouldn't he? We got we got the Damien Eccles shit coming up soon. Uh, allegedly, everything I said, allegedly. Yeah, chicken coop meth and HPV. That is a interesting idea there, Fire Pixie. It could be that. It could be both. Uh, I don't know, man. Scott, what do you think it is? If you're still around, I don't even know if anybody's still here. They're probably like, this dude's in a chicken coop meth lab. I'm the fuck out. Let me see if there's anything else I gotta show y'all today. I showed y'all that horrible, mean commercial, didn't I? Don't forget to hit like, assholes. Since ain't nobody PayPal me shit. Look at all this work I did. I sit here and built y'all a chicken coop meth lab to sell y'all chicken coop meth t-shirts. Get your chicken coop meth t-shirts. Anybody takes a picture in the chicken coop meth t-shirt, I'll put them in the 333 acre woods. You'll be there forever. So, questions, comments, concerns, bitches, or complaints? Anybody got a Sheepsquatch story? If anybody ever does have a Sheepsquatch story and watches this fucking catastrophe, my email is drcorbeaux@gmail.com. I would love to hear your story, especially if you weren't on meth and you were completely sober when this happens. Yeah, Fire Pixie. They had that sex room above the chicken coop. Maybe that's where Sheepsquatch come from. You know, they was doing some kind of satanic minotaur mating rituals with a fucking sheep, and that thing was born, and he was like, fuck this shit, and he took off for West Virginia. You know it's got to be bad when you take off for West Virginia. That could be. Wouldn't that be something? I wonder how much trouble I'm going to get in. Y'all see that chicken back there smoking dope? Look at that motherfucker. That is just uncouth. I was reading this FDA or some shit report talking about these chickens' eggs. They got trace amounts of meth in them now. I told y'all, chicken coop meth is fucking real. Google that shit. I put post on the community post to show y'all. I ain't making that shit up. These motherfuckers is cooking chicken coop meth. Well, there's no questions, comments, concerns. Let me see what the fuck. Until such time, consciousness and prosperity prevail. Send all contact requests, video requests, bitches, gripes, complaints, letters of support, or opposition, titty pics and tasteful nudes to Dr. Corbeaux at gmail.com. I love y'all. And you know what? We did get a fucking letter of opposition. I forgot to bring it up. Apparently this guy was, I guess something about I'm going to be cleansed. I guess he going to kill me because of a book I wrote or something. but we'll talk about that later. That's all, folks. And
what's up, bitch? Thanks for your money. Hey, give me money.
Follow me. Did you have any choice? You'll all follow me.